The night swallowed her whole. Rain poured down in sheets, blurring the streetlights into streaks of gold and white. Emily ran, her breath shallow, her heartbeat loud enough to drown out the world. Max stayed close to her side, silent, alert, his paws splashing through puddles, his fur soaked but his eyes sharp with purpose. Behind them, the bungalow that once meant safety was now nothing more than a crime scene waiting to happen. The people who'd broken in weren't just officers, she knew that now. They'd been waiting for something. Watching. The timing was too precise. Someone inside the investigation wanted that flash drive gone. She didn't stop until the familiar streets faded into the industrial outskirts of the city. Warehouses, flickering signs, the metallic smell of wet concrete. There, beneath the cover of an old freight tunnel, she collapsed onto the cold ground. For a long moment, she couldn't move. Her lungs burned, her legs trembled. She could hear Max panting beside her, shaking rainwater from his coat. She reached for him, her hands shaking as they met his fur. He leaned against her, grounding her in the dark. "I didn't kill him," she whispered. "You know that, don't you?" Max only pressed closer. In that small, desperate gesture, she found something that felt like strength. She pulled the flash drive from her pocket. The rain had smeared the label, but she didn't need to read it. The truth inside it was all that mattered. Somewhere on that drive was proof of everything Victor had warned about. The corruption, the betrayal, the people powerful enough to destroy anyone in their way. But she couldn't go back home. And she couldn't go to the police. That left her only one option: find someone she could trust to decrypt the data before they did. And in that instant, one name came to mind. Liam Price. A quiet tech consultant who'd once done freelance cybersecurity work for Hale Industries. Emily remembered him from company events, awkward, kind, a man who avoided politics and gossip. He had always been polite to her, even when others weren't. If anyone could help her without asking too many questions, it was him. But finding him meant risk. Every message, every call could be traced. She'd have to move carefully and quickly. The rain had turned into mist by dawn. Emily used an abandoned payphone near the edge of the city, dialing the number she remembered from the company's internal directory. It rang twice before a groggy voice answered. "Hello. Liam, it's Emily Carter." The pause. Then a sharp inhale. "Emily? You?" He stopped himself. "Do you have any idea what's happening right now?" "The police." "I didn't do it," she interrupted. Her voice cracked under the weight of exhaustion. "Victor was murdered, and they're trying to pin it on me. I have proof, but I can't open it. I need your help." Another silence. She could almost hear his mind racing. "Where are you?" he asked finally. "Nowhere safe." He hesitated, then lowered his voice. "Meet me at the old Marlow train depot. 2 hours. Come alone." The line went dead. She hung up and stood still for a long moment. The depot had been abandoned for years, a forgotten skeleton of concrete and rust. It was dangerous, but she had no choice. As she made her way there, the city seemed to shift around her. Every car that slowed, every stranger's glance, felt like a threat. She ducked through alleyways, used side streets, stayed in the shadows. Max followed without hesitation, as if he understood every move she made. By the time she reached the depot, the sky had turned gray again. Broken windows lined the building like hollow eyes. She slipped inside through a half-open door, her footsteps echoing across the cracked floor. "Liam," she whispered. A figure stepped out from behind a pillar, tall, thin, glasses fogged from the cold. His expression was a mix of disbelief and concern. "Emily, I can't believe this." He glanced at Max nervously, then back at her. "They're saying you killed Victor Hale. That you were caught at the scene." "They're lying," she said, pulling the flash drive from her pocket. He knew something. He left this. Said it would prove who was behind it. Liam looked at it, then at her, his face paling. You shouldn't have that. If it's what I think it is, they'll kill you for it. Emily stepped closer. Then help me make sure it sees daylight before they do. He hesitated. Then reluctantly he nodded. Alright, but we can't stay here. There's a place I can work, a safe house with an offline system. No network. No trace. They didn't make it to the exit. A sound shattered the silence, the distant crunch of tires on gravel. Then another. Headlights cut through the broken windows, slicing across the dark interior. Liam froze. How did they? Before he could finish, Max began barking furiously, his hackles raised. Run! Emily shouted. Gunshots exploded from outside, shattering the glass above them. Dust and debris rained down. Emily grabbed Liam's arm, pulling him behind a rusted freight car as Max lunged forward, barking toward the source of the noise. Who are they? Liam yelled over the gunfire. The people Victor warned about. Emily shouted back. They found us. More shots. Echoes. Then, sudden silence. Emily's breath came in ragged bursts. Max stood ahead, growling into the dark. The headlights outside dimmed, then went out completely. In that suffocating stillness, a voice called out from the shadows. Emily Carter, you have something that belongs to us. The voice was smooth, deliberate, and far too calm. Max growled louder, stepping between Emily and the darkness. His fur was wet, his body tense, a wall of loyalty standing between her and danger. The voice continued. Hand over the drive, and maybe you live long enough to clear your name. Emily's hand tightened around the flash drive. Her pulse thundered in her ears. She looked at Max, at Liam, at the gaping exit behind them. She could surrender, or she could run again. But deep down, something told her this was bigger than just her freedom. Victor had died to protect whatever was on that drive. If she gave it up now, everything he'd risked would be lost. She met Liam's terrified eyes. Through the back, she whispered. Now. They ran. The darkness erupted behind them. Shouts, gunfire, the crash of metal. Max barked once, then twice, before following close behind, his eyes blazing with something fierce and unyielding. And as they disappeared into the night, Emily knew this wasn't just about proving her innocence anymore. It was about surviving long enough to expose the truth, and trusting the only ally who'd never betrayed her. Her dog.